Have you ever considered that you are not where you need to be? Have you thought about the fact that you have more capacity in you than the way that you live? That there is more in you in terms of your ability and your talents and your gifts than you are exhibiting now in your life? You see, my passion and my mission is to really get each one of us to a place where we are living out the potential that's in us. Now, that seems like a fantastic concept, but the challenge is in how do we get from where we are to where we need to be. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have a few conversations over the next few weeks and few months possibly about achievement, about you becoming the best that you can be, about you finding that gift that is in you. So I want to challenge you to, as we go through the conversations, as we go through just kind of working through how do we get from the talent, the gift, the goals that we want to set for ourselves to actually achieving them. I'm Coach IanB, and my passion is that when I leave this earth, when I leave wherever it is I am, that you are better for me having been there. So every time I meet someone, every time I engage with someone, my passion, my dream, my vision for my life is that you be better off. So I hope that as we have those conversations, as we just sit and chat or stand and chat or walk and chat, that my prayer, my hope is that I'm able to challenge you. I'm able to get you to think a little more. You know, one of the things that we do very well is conform. We find a way to go along with what everybody else is doing. And the reality is you're born with a gift. You're born with a special talent and ability that's different from everybody else. So I want to awaken that in you because it's already there. It's already a gift that's given to you. So my aim as we have these conversations is to awaken that gift in you. So the first part of the formula is what we call dream. The second part is goal, then plan, then action. So let me repeat that. We dream, then we set a goal, then we plan, and then we act on it. Let's talk about it a little bit more. So in creating a dream, I have to be clear where I'm trying to get to. Because clarity is essential in ensuring we achieve what we want to achieve. If we don't know where we're going, it is very difficult to plan a route or a path or know what resources I need to get there. So a dream is essential, and knowing where you want to get to. So clarity in a dream is essential to you getting there. The second piece is around goal. I have to take that dream and I have to set it as a goal. Now a goal is something that has more definitive timelines and is more specific. So I want to set it into timelines. So I may have a goal that is, let's say, 5 years away, but I break that up into smaller goals so it gives me something to hit as I walk through the process. So dream and then goal. Then we think about how do we plan to get to where we need to be from the goal that we've set. And planning is actually a fascinating process. The thing about planning is that the plan may change, but it's the process that's invaluable. So people say to me, why bother plan if things are going to change anyway? Well, what planning does, it helps you to prepare for different eventualities. It helps you to prepare for things that may go wrong. So if you plan effectively, in fact, what it will do, it will save you time, it will save you money, and it will actually save you a lot of pain and grief. Because you will expect certain things to happen that you didn't think about if you didn't plan. So you want to sit and you want to think about how do you create a plan that is documented, not just in your head, because it is important for us to think through the entire process. Now, after we've done all that, we've got to do one more thing. We've got to take action. We've got to do something with the information that we have. Because here's what, I can think, I can dream. If I don't execute, nothing happens. Because you have a lot of dreamers, you have a lot of wishers, you have a lot of people who want to achieve things, but you do not achieve anything if you don't take action. And I'm talking about consistent, disciplined action over an extended period of time that actually gets you to your dream. And I want to show you just kind of 4 steps to kind of pulling that together in a way that helps you to crystallize that dream, that thought, that passion that is welling up on the inside of you. Now, some of that passion sometimes gets hidden. It gets pushed down because of the challenges of life. So the aim of this part of the conversation is to get you to think about how do I awaken that thing, that dream that's either been bubbling or maybe it's not bubbling as much as it used to. but I want to help you awaken that. So the first piece about this is to find your passion. It is find that thing in you that's natural, that ability in you that you already have, you already possess. But you need to kind of crystallize it. We find our passion, we find that thing that we love to do, we find that thing that gives us energy, that thing that when we do it, it just kind of bubbles up inside of us. When I speak, when I work with clients, it gives me energy. So I'm excited, I have passion, I have drive, I enjoy it, I love doing it. That makes it easier for me to do because it's just something that I love to do, because I believe it is my actual purpose in life to actually share my gift, to actually be able to help people become the best that they can be. So once I kind of sit and prepare, it doesn't matter how tired I am able to do it because I have the passion for it. So to find that thing is to really to take the time and begin to figure out the things that you love, the things that you enjoy doing, the things that gives you energy when you do it, the things that make you happy when you do it. If you begin just to document those things, you'll be able to find that passion. The second thing is to be able to review, reflect, and be grateful. Now, many of us are not as grateful as we need to be. We complain about what we have, and sometimes we ask for something when we get it, we still complain about how we get it and how it is. So the idea of gratitude, to be thankful, to be appreciative for what you have, is a critical part of that process. So let me encourage you. Let me ask you to stop for a moment. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Why don't you give me some feedback and tell me, 5 things that you're grateful for. Not because you're telling me, but because you're speaking out to the world to say, look, everything may not be okay, but here's what. I'm thankful for the things that I already have. So let's talk about stopping to review, to reflect, and be grateful. The next piece about this is, how do I create a purpose statement for my life? So I have taken the time to create a purpose statement for my life. So I'm very clear what I'm doing. So my purpose statement, actually I have 2 actually. The first one is that when I leave here, the people here must be better off for me having been here. That's one purpose statement that I live by. So every time I meet somebody, I engage somebody, my aim is that I leave value with them. Everybody walks away better off for having met rather than me taking things away from them. The other way I have defined my purpose statement is that I am a light that helps people find their way to their dreams. It's just another way of finding my purpose statement, and it's important for you to find your purpose statement. So take some time and find your purpose statement. The last part of the concept of dream in the formula is for us to be able to create a vision of the future. What will my future be like? And what I say to folks is to take some time and paint a picture for 10 years, for 15 years, and begin to see what a day in your life looks like. Begin to see the people who is around you, to begin to see what you do on an average day during the week, to see what you do during the weekends, who you get up with in the morning, what your home looks like, what your business looks like, what your staff look like, who you serve in terms of if you're in business, who you work with. It is you beginning to project a view of the future. So if we review dream very quickly, first, you want to find your passion. You want to find that thing that comes naturally in you. Second, you want to be able to take some time to review, to reflect, and be grateful for the blessings that you've had in your life. The next piece is you want to now begin to create a purpose statement for your life. What is your purpose of being here on earth? Why are you here? What are you trying to accomplish? And the final piece is, how do you create a vision of your future? What do you want your life to look like in 10, 15, 20 years from now? Not what it looks like today, but be able to kind of, for a moment, live in the future. For a moment, see something that not think about how you're going to get there. That's the second piece of the equation. The first part is first knowing where you want to get to and what your future look like. You see, a dream without a goal is just a wish. Because everybody wishes they had something. And there's an old saying that says, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Meaning that all of us wish for something, but we need to translate that wish into a concrete goal and a concrete desire. So we're going to talk about how do you kind of take that thing that you desire, that dream that you have, and make it into something more concrete. So the first thing I want you to do is to think about taking your dream and create what I call objective goals. So if you think about objective goals, I kind of look at it in a couple ways. There is what I call the three tensions of life. Three tensions of life. You have you, in terms of what you need to do for you. You have your relationships, and you have your money. Keep those three things in tension. Because if any one of them gets out of tension, not balanced tension, then you are a little skewed and you're not going to be as good as you could be. So let's focus on the whole concept of what are objective goals. So for example, my objective goal is that I am healthy. So for me, for my physical body, I have an objective goal to be healthy. For me, for my spiritual objective goal, I want to have a closer relationship with God, that I feel in tune with my Maker and my Creator. That's an objective goal. And then in terms of my soul, or that part of me that thinks and feels and decides, I want to make sure that in actual fact, I learn as much as I can. I am able to be in a position where I actually get my soul to be the best that it can be. So in terms of my knowledge, in terms of my skill, in terms of my emotions, in terms of me being able to think clearly, to be in a place where my mind is clear, to be in a place where my emotions are completely under control, and to be in a place where my will makes the right decisions about where I need to go. So this is an objective goal. And in terms of money, I'm looking for financial independence. I'm looking to be able to be financially free. So that is an objective goal. The next piece, I want to take this and break this down into what I call activity goals. How do I actually take this and make this more concrete? So I'm just going to use one, and let's look at it from that perspective. Okay, so if I think about my physical being, so my aim is to be healthy in terms of my objective goal. My activity goal is to say, okay, I want to get to 160 pounds by the end of December. That's a specific activity goal coming from my objective goal to be healthy. So I now break that down into something more specific. So I move from an objective goal to an activity goal by moving from a general objective of where I want to get to being more specific in terms of an activity I want to achieve. Is that making sense? All right, so I want you to think now about objective goals. So I want you to think about what are your overarching objective goals, and just share some feedback with us in terms of making sure that we can actually get that. So 1, objective goals. 2, activity goals. And we break those activity goals down into shorter time periods. So we begin to say 12 months, then 3 months, then 6 months. So we begin to condense that into shorter periods. And then I say, okay, how do I create some pillars on which I'm going to build those activity goals? And 2 sets of pillars to think about. The first set of pillars is what I call activity pillars, and the second is what I call behavior pillars. So what are the key activities that I need to ensure I do on a continuous basis to get me there? So one of the things for me in terms of activity pillars is the whole idea of my morning routines. I have specific morning routines that I actually make sure that sets my day up. So in terms of ensuring, 1, I have devotions, I have meditations, I do my declarations, I have some time to clarify what I intend to get for the day. That's an activity pillar. Then I have behavior pillars. So one of my behavior pillars is the whole idea of being focused, being able to say no, being able to be deliberate about what I do. That is a behavior pillar. So each one of us have to set the activities that kind of form the core of our activities, and secondly, the behaviors that actually are essential to our success. Let us now take some time to review the 3 things that we've looked at so far. The first one is the whole concept that we need to set behavior goals. So this is long-term overarching goals. Secondly, we want to set activity goals, which are more specific. So if I go for a behavior goal, it is I want to be healthy. A specific goal is that I want to get to 160 pounds by December this year. So that's a specific activity goal. Then I want to set some what I call activity and behavioral pillars. These are the kind of foundation pieces that keep the thing going, which means some specific activities. So for me, it is how I set up my day, my morning devotion, my routines around my weekly reviews. That becomes an activity pillar. Then I look at a behavior pillar, which is what are the foundational behaviors that I must ensure that I actually do to get me to where I want to be. So activity pillars and behavioral pillars. And the 4th piece in terms of looking at setting goals is creating what I call a 1-page goal sheet. So this is 1 page that you keep with you that on one hand has the goals that you're trying to achieve, more shorter term, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and then it has your activity pillars and it has your behavior pillars. So folks, if you want to take your dream to get it to reality, you need to move from dream to creating specific goals. So we talked about dream, we talked about goal, we want to talk about plan. Now, or planning maybe is probably a better way to put it. Now, Dwight Eisenhower, the late US president, said that a plan really is nothing, it's planning that's everything. It is the planning process that's invaluable. It is the exercise of taking the time to work through a plan that's important. I want you to think about creating a task list. So you now have a specific goal. You want to create a task list. You want to create what are the critical things you need to do. Now that is where people tend to fall down because they don't want to take the time to dedicate to working through the process. And nothing great is achieved on the surface. You got to dig if you want to find anything precious. Precious stones, precious minerals. You got to dig. You got to take the time to dig into it. You got to take the time to do the work. So the first thing you want to do is to first create a task list. What are the tasks that you need to accomplish to be able to get there? That means you got to take some time to work through the details of the process. You got to work through it step by step by step, because you need to go through the details if you want to be able to be in a position when things change for you to be able to adjust, because you've taken the time to think through it. So the task is the first piece that you need to do. Take your time and work through a detailed task list. And then you want to work through the time management matrix. Now, this is from Stephen Covey, and what he said is we have to define the things that are important in our life. So go find Stephen Covey and look at the time management matrix, and to learn how you actually say what is important, what is urgent, what are the things that are urgent and not important, what are the things that are urgent and important, what are the things that are not urgent and not important, and what are the things that are not urgent and important. So you can begin to define what are the important things in your life that you need to give time to. Now that you've done those things, you want to create a week by week action plan. So what we do is we do it for 13 weeks, which is a quarter. We don't do it for 52 weeks because that's just too long. So every quarter we actually do a week by week action plan. And what we do, we sit down and look at, okay, what are each of our goals and what am I going to do week on week on week on week? Because then I have a plan, I have something that I can work with to be able to execute week on week. Because what we do is we take the time up front to be able to save the time going forward. So again, let's go back. You look at a task list, you look at a time audit, then you look at your time management matrix of what's important, and then you create a week by week action plan. Let me implore you. Taking the time to plan is going to save you time, energy, pain, and more importantly, it's actually going to help you to be able to execute faster and with much more ease if you take the time to do some planning. So what I want you to do is to give me some feedback below. Just what is your view on planning, and how many of you take the time to plan in a consistent, deliberate way? Everything that we see around us was first an idea. It was first something that somebody thought about, first something that somebody dreamt about, an idea that someone had. So I have a dream, an idea, a concept, what I want to do. I then convert it into a goal. I then plan and go through a planning process of getting me to put the actual steps of that process on paper or in a piece of software. And then I say, okay, now that I have that, what do I need to do? I need to act. I need to move. I need to kind of take action on the things that I'm doing. Because you see, if I do nothing, nothing happens. If I don't actually put legs to my goals, because that's what it is. Action is really putting legs to our goals. It's actually taking our goals from obscurity to bring it out into the open, and actually taking that thing so that we can become the best that we can be. Now, taking action is about consistent movement. It's about saying, okay, let us take something that we want to achieve and break it down into smaller bits that we can actually do something about. So when we looked at planning, we looked at a weekly action plan. So this piece is around how do I do what I need to do, but secondly, how do I track it and keep myself focused in moving forward. So if we look at taking action, we first have to look at how do we take a bigger period into a smaller period. So we look at, first of all, for me, what we do in the process is actually gets you to, say, create a 90-day plan, week by week 90-day plan. So we have 90-day objectives. We then say, okay, what do I need to accomplish in a month for me to get to my 3 months goal? And then so I have monthly goals, and then I bring it back and I say, okay, what do I need to accomplish weekly, right? So I go from quarterly objectives, we then come to monthly goals, and then we come to now weekly targets. Now this is not just the plan, this is now specific things I'm going to achieve at the end of a week, at the end of a month, at the end of a quarter. These are not wishes, these are specific, deliberate results that I'm going to get. So I define what those are, and then I say, okay, what do I do to begin to track myself? So I say, if I wait until the end of the week, it's too late, the week is gone. So what I do is I set what I call daily VIPs. So at the beginning of the week, I would suggest you define what you want to achieve for the week. And 20 things are just too much. You set some specific deliverables you're trying to get done for the week. Because you know what you want to get done for the month, and you know what you want to get done for the quarter, and you know what you want to get done for the year, because you already set those things in place. You now say, okay, if I create some daily, very important priorities, 3 results on a day-to-day basis that I want to achieve. So every single day, I told you about my routine in the morning, that I set some specific things I'm trying to accomplish for that day. Now, I may have 20 things on my list, but those 3 things are non-negotiable. I must end the day having accomplished those things. Now, that is the discipline that's required for us to create that kind of, what I call the spirit of achievement, the ability to actually get things done. It is me saying that every single day, I am going to do what is required to accomplish just 3 things for that day. And we have a principle we'll talk about, which is the effectiveness formula. That's going to help you to be able to say, okay, how do I track myself during the day? And you say, boy, that's a bit tedious. Well, if you want to achieve something that's important to you, and you make it a habit, and it's not, these are not things that is difficult, in the sense that you should be pursuing things that you want, not things that you don't want. So the thing that I'm asking and I'm suggesting you do as a process should not become painful. Not that it won't be difficult, but it won't be something that you don't love doing. And let me step back a little bit. Even though I may want to do something, I may not feel like doing it. So I may love it, but I may not feel like doing it, which means my passion may be waning because of something happening around me. Maybe I may not be feeling that energetic. Maybe there are situations around me that's kind of putting pressure on me, and I know that I'm not feeling at my best. The concept is that if I set myself these daily, very important priorities, it propels me, it stops me. This process of stopping and reviewing, seeing where I am, realizing what is important to me, and constantly thinking about my why. That review process is essential, because that is what is going to keep jump-starting you. Because every now and then we're going to get stressed. Every now and then we're going to get challenged. We're going to get just things that go in life is going to come at us. We're going to get knocked down. We're going to get punched. We're going to get challenged with just the reality of living. This process is aimed to help you push past those things. That you stop, you reflect, you review, you stop, you kind of look at what have I done, what went well, what didn't go so well, and what do I need to do. And tomorrow, what are the 3 things I must get done? So folks, let me leave you with this thought today. Action puts legs to your goals. You can think it, you can dream it, you can wish it. But if you do nothing about it, nothing happens. So thank you for joining me in our conversations about achievement. And look forward to seeing you when next we look at how you can become the best that you can be.